Ah, good, we're live. All right. Yeah, hope everyone's all right. Yay. Yeah, hope everyone's all right. Let me just, I'll have to share. I'm just sharing around, guys, if anyone's joining me. I think you may want to be waiting for me to post this. And on Twitter, of course. Okay. I'm just going to share it around the groups, guys. I'll come to the chat box in a minute. All right, so I'll just. I can see a few names in there already. Hang on a sec. All right. We got our American borders. Hello! Hello, Woody Black, User 1, Delafarent, The Lights Were Low, Legend Real, David Schultz, how you doing? Sorenable, hey, how's it going? Like the ghosts. Della, we must have that FPH. Yeah, we'll do that, Della, definitely. Yeah, ISP blogs. Because I've experienced that. Good evening, Bernie Tucker. How are you all? There'll be a few more people joining us soon, no doubt. Araminta Mooncrow, hey, how you doing? Hello, nice. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. That's really good of you, Araminta. Hope you are all right. Martin Taylor, welcome all of you. While I'm waiting for people to join, I think I'll just go through the. All the notice comments, because we had quite a few here. Rick Horden says, "Cheers, Ben." Charles from Project Camelot says, "Haha, I'm unbeatable." And Nicholas Blara has something here. I don't know what this is. Nicholas Blair. What the hell is this? It's a link. I'm not going to click that. It's probably something inappropriate. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing all right, all of you. Hope you're doing well. It's good that you're here. So, how many of you watched the film? Because this is a watch party. You may have noticed I've actually started work on my next comments reply video too. I actually was looking. I was looking to it. Martin Taylor found Jimmy Jean in the as into the microcosm. Well done, Martin. We were all a bit worried about him, but I'm glad he's all right. Oh, my mic is quiet again. I don't know what's causing this. I really don't. I've had the same problem with my User 1. I've had the same problem when I've been doing my comments reply video. I tried turning the volume up on the mic. Went to settings. Doesn't say anything. I don't know what to do with it. Oh, what else is that? I went to my control panel. Because I had to apologise to the people, because I did a couple of test recordings before I did the comments reply video. I don't know why the sound is low. My mic is incredibly quiet. Right, I don't know why that is. Let's have a look. Properties, listen, levels. It's on 100%. 100% advanced. Listen. I don't know why this is. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it's so low. I've got the Volume here is, that's the speaker volume, 100%. Have I tried with a different mic? I only have, well, I've, and the sound's alright at your end. Okay, I don't know what to do about this. I went to control panel. You can hear it alright, Martin. You might just have to boost your volume. I said this on my, unfortunately, on my comments reply video. I said, you know, it's very low, and I don't know why that is. It's the same on Audacity. It's not so bad. Kind of already happened, and we've lived through it. It was all right on Skype the other day. It must be something to do with OBS. So, hi, Jared Plenty. Sounds okay for you. Sounds all right to Araminta. Della says it's very. Bernie says, have I tried testing a different mic? I tried using. What I did was I switched to my webcam mic on OBS, and it was normal. Oh, it's very loud. It's very poor quality. That's the problem. I'm sorry, guys. You might just have to switch the volume up. I don't know why this is happening. I've restarted OBS a couple of times. It's still doing it because, yeah, I did say this. When you watch the comments reply video, you'll find the same problem. You'll find I'll hold it as close to my mouth as I can. You'll find that the mic volume is very low. Can I twiddle the cable? I could try whacking it. A bit low. Mick Jagger's voice. The levels have got to be all right, Brando. Yeah, he's a hospital porter. He was. Oh, look. I'm afraid I don't know what to do about this. I've gone to every setting I have. I've got it on OBS here, and it's lower than normal. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a hardware issue. Settings on OBS. Lock volume. What happens when I lock volume? Unhide all, hide, rename. Vertical layout, filters, properties. Yeah, microphone, UHB audio device. That's okay. Right. What else do I do? Yeah, I need to. Having a backup mic's not a bad idea. Oh, yeah. The lights below. Looking forward to Weird Weekend. Can you sign one of your books? Oh, I don't have a store, but I'll bring one with me. Oh, if you bring yours, I'll sign it for you. Yeah, if you want to buy one. Brando says Mick Jagger was. I thought he was at London School of Economics. Yeah. He was a hospital porter. I did an article on HPWA about it recently. Gary Garner's Goy Pride, 70% is okay. Just whack your volume right up. I think you'll just have to do that, guys. I don't know what else to do. I'll try raising my voice as much as I can. Maybe Bill Gates is worried about our hearing, says Araminta. Could be. Welsh Ripper says, go Russia. You know, Welsh Ripper, I don't want to say that I'm pro-Russia or anything like that, but didn't do nothing, as the saying goes. We're going to discuss tonight, actually, exactly what's real and what's not in this whole issue. Brando says, hello, Sonia White. Yeah. Brando, Elvis Costello was a hospital porter, was he? I thought he was just a kitchen porter at a hospital, which doesn't count. David, Simon Le Bon was a hospital porter, was he? Which hospital? Because he comes from Oxford. Oh my goodness. None of the Oxrad crew ever talked about him. I mean, it'd be Simon Le Bon. I thought I could tell by looking. I didn't realise that Simon Le Bon was. I mean, I always thought you could tell by looking, but I had this poor dar, and I could just tell as soon as I saw someone. I thought, yeah, hospital porter. Although I got that wrong about David Farrant, as Della informed me. I didn't suss him out with my poor dar. David Schultz says, how much is everyone paying for petrol and heating oil? It's $4.10 a gallon in Maine, heading for $4.35. Goodness gracious. Oh. it's getting higher here as well. I mean, I don't drive, which helps, but this is going to affect obviously my bills. I haven't had a bill since all this kicked off, so we'll have to wait and see. It'll probably be a lot higher. David says, I still have to get you his Simon Le Bon talking about his time as a hospital porter. Please do, David, yeah. Thank you. How can I tell by looking at Araminta? Well, there's something about him. I look at him, I think, yeah, hospital porter. It's something, it's just something that radiates out about them, their mannerism, their look. It comes from being in the unique experience of hospital portering. Yeah, Whittington and Barnet General. Yeah, so it kicked out twice. Oh dear, Della. I mean, I didn't realise when I talked to him I would have treated him with more respect if I'd known, you know. Although I did treat him with respect. But hello, Cosmic Claire. How are you? Check your inbox, Cosmic Claire, because I've just sent you a couple of links that you asked for. I want to talk about your book as well. I want to know how that's getting on. Brando, thanks for the information about Simon Le Bon. Maybe it was the old Radcliffe. No one ever talked about him. Araminta, you must be able to tune into his portering aura. Yeah, it is a kind of aura, isn't it? The physiognomy of a hospital porter, says Gary. Yeah. Martin Taylor. Were you a hospital porter? Oh, Martin. Really? Pride and dignity, Martin, brother porter. Hi, Hugo. How you doing? David says correctly, hospital porters are alpha men with a go-getter outlook. Absolutely, and then some. Oh, Claire, keep me posted about the book, Claire. I'd love to talk to you more about that. Yeah, I can't wait to read it. I know that it's Arctos, isn't it? Is it Arctos who are bringing it out? Brando, J.R. Tolkien. He was a medical orderly, yeah. He was like, he was rather like Wittgenstein, yeah. I think he was field rather than he wasn't in the actual field hospital like Wittgenstein. Ludwig Wittgenstein, the philosopher. Della, I'm gonna have to put in another Hospital Porters Hall of Fame thing on HPWA now. Elvis Costello, Simon Le Bon, Claire is Arctos. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, they cover a lot of these sorts of things, politically incorrect stuff. Brando, your friend wrote a book on Wittgenstein. It's all coming about hospital porters. Yeah, he was. Claire, he was like most men of his generation. He was in that terrible war. Yeah. Martin said you were a volunteer at Orpington Hospital in the 1960s. Well, well done, Martin. Being a volunteer is, well, that's yeah, Claire. If this book's everything you've been talking about, then yeah, I can't wait to renew it, to interview you about it, read it, and interview you about it. David, yes, let's not forget the subject matter of this watch party. You managed to watch Wag the Dog. Great film, more poignant today, as you know. Yeah, so yeah. Della says before Duran Duran, he worked as a theatre porter. Right. I was a theatre porter for how many years? It was I was a theatre porter for 6 years. Yeah. From 1999 to 2005. I was a theatre porter, yeah. And I was a casualty. I was casualty porter after that, actually. It was called level 1 portering, but yeah, I was actually made dedicated A&E porter, yeah. Yeah. You haven't watched it, Claire? Not to worry, not to worry. Do watch it if you can. But David, David's watched it. How many I mean, this is a watch party. You don't. I'm not going to kick you if you haven't watched it. But if you have watched it, who has actually watched it here? Just put a yes in chat if you've watched it. Brando, I like it because of Pacino. He's not in it. Hugo's not watched it. Not to worry. Woody Black, well done. Not to worry, guys. Watch it sometime. I'll try to avoid spoilers if possible. Well done. Yes, Brando, Araminta, yeah. Not me. All right, Sorenable. There may be a couple of spoilers, but it's not the end of the world. You can still enjoy it. quite a while ago, though. Not to worry, Woody. Not to worry. It'll all come back to you. How many of you watched my review as well? Because I did a review of the second part. David Schultz, you watched it too, good many years ago. It will come back to you, I'm sure. But Lord Anu, hello. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I just got back from ancient Samaria. I'm back. Oh my god. I haven't seen you for so long. Oh my god, I love your show. Well, thank you, Lord Anu. Entertaining passionate time travellers is one of my specialities. You've not seen the review, Woody. Not to worry about. You've seen the film. That's okay. But I was really pleased actually to find out if it was actually trending. Oh, the lights were lower from Bushy. Oh right, went to the same school as Elton John. They must have probably just had some jamming sessions together. Sounds like Bill and Monica in the Bosnia. Yeah, it's Nihilist Lives Matter. Of course, in the film, the president is involved in a sex scandal. It's far more serious than. It's far more. Yeah, than Bosnia. That's right. It's funny, you know. You should say that because all that trouble in the Balkans did break out after that, didn't it? Martin Taylor, you loved my trip to Swansea's. Thank you. Such satire. Thank you very much. That's great. I'm halfway through making the next comments reply video. I was going to leave it, but I suddenly realised I looked at how long ago since the last one, and it was a month. I thought, oh my god, I better get one done. I thought I've got a live stream tonight. I'll have to do it tomorrow. And I thought, no, let's do a little bit now. I don't have to do it all in one go. I can do some of it now, some of it later tonight, some of it tomorrow, because it's going to be a bloody long one because I've left it go so long. But yeah, the thing about Bill Clinton, it's a funny thing about Bill Clinton. I mean, Molyneux makes this point. He was completely left the way. He was completely left, kind of let off the hook for what he did to Monica Lewinsky, or did with her. I mean, sure, it's not as serious as in the film because she is an adult. Because she is at least an adult, but she was like a young, naive, working-class girl. And Bill Clinton, of course, is the most powerful figure in U.S. politics, president, and is a much older, more sophisticated man. And, you know, there's no doubt that he would have exploited that situation. And the feminists never said a word about it. They never said a word about it because Bill Clinton was useful to them. In the film, of course, it's far more different. He's actually... The president is accused of doing... He was left alone. He took a girl guide into his office. And so it's far more serious because she's like a 13 or 14-year-old. Clinton is Brando. He's a horrible monster, yeah. Oh, yes. Funny how... Nihilist Lives Matter says, funny how... global dictators and rogues' dastardly schedules line up with POTUS's downturns in popularity. Well, I'm sure this is very useful to the Biden administration. I'm not saying Biden himself. He doesn't know what day of the week it is. But the people around him. Hello, Jules. Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, you. How are you? And David puts out the feminists attack the women who accused Bill Clinton of rape. Yes, that's far more serious. At least Monica Lewinsky consented. Lord Daniel, I believe you. It's all right. Yeah. But look what all Trump did. He talked about having manual sex with a woman, if you call it that, and he just bragged about it or just said something about it, and they went crazy about it. He said 11 years. This was 11 years ago, earlier as well. Claire says, I didn't know that Putin had cured the P-wordemic. Yeah. Now that's... Yeah. Isn't that funny, isn't it? No one's talking about that anymore, are they? Someone mentions, are the refugees from Ukraine going to be given the test for the C word? I don't think anyone cares anymore. It's all. I said on a previous live stream, this is kind of an emergency stop, and I said something would replace it, and it could be that this is it. The lights were low. Le Bon had to give up his gig portering during to be hungry like a wolf during the night shift. Only wild boys can cope with hospital portering. The lights were low. Yeah. Oh, Jules says he's busy. Just wanted to drop in a few before I must attend a meeting. Thanks for dropping in, Jules. Thank you. Much appreciated. When I finish this live stream, I'll probably go back and I'll finish the comments reply video. I probably won't upload it tonight because I don't want to upload it too soon after this one. But I'll probably upload it tomorrow, or maybe really in the early hours. It'll probably do it overnight or something. Oh, but I wish I could fix the mic problem. I don't know. Maybe I'll probably just restart the whole. When I restart the computer, that'll be all right. Gnarlish Lives Matter. Did you see Kamala chuckling when asked to take refugees? They're not tanned enough. Did she say that? Oh, isn't she horrible? I mean, I hate when these people, these non-white people say these things and say, well, no one's going to accuse me of racism. I can say these things, can't I? Brando. Oh, by the way, I laughed my head off at Jussie Smollett. Did you see that? Did you? I made a joke. I said, I haven't actually put it. Hello, Hatchie. How you doing? Yeah. I said they should do a remake of Porridge, and he could play the new Fletcher, and he's doing all the research he needs to do right now, isn't he? Oh, that was funny. Yeah, I honestly thought he'd walk again. I honestly thought he would walk. Oh God, Jussie, it's a pity, really. Well, it's a pity that his head was turned into such a narcissist by these cultural Marxists. I mean, yeah, Woody, you laughed. I bet you laughed as well. I laughed my head off. Brando, he should play in a Dickens novel. He'll probably get a job as a King of England or something, Although, the problem is people aren't watching that kind of crap anymore. That's why that Northman film that's coming out next month it's got an all-white cast. It's about Vikings and it's got an all-white cast. Racism. Claire says, I heard comments which didn't agree with the Western narrative are going to get cancelled on some social media. Shock horror. Claire, they've cancelled all the platforms. Like Russia Today's been cancelled, hasn't it? Woody Black, yeah, he said he's not suicidal. Honestly, what a drama queen. I'm not suicidal. If anyone topped, who's going to care? I don't care. I just want him. I don't want him to be killed. I just want him in jail, bloody rotting away, thinking about what he's done. Thinking about he's doing this. He's got this because he wanted. He was told all his life through these damn education courses that there's an evil white person around every corner trying to get him, right? And of course that's not true. But he thought, oh well. I can have my victimhood fame too, and he thought, I'll make one up. It's always the way, isn't it? Whenever demand outstrips supply, fake goods end up on the market. First they came for Alex Jones, yeah. Yeah, David says he's in protective custody because he's famous. He's going to say it's because I'm black and I'm gay. No, it's because he's a celebrity. They all go into protective custody. But anyway, Lord Anu. Fascinating, Lord Anu, fascinating. Louis Elizondo and a group of humans. Oh, right. Lou Elizondo. Steve Mumbling said to Lou Elizondo, either do a poo or get off the pot. Yeah. Claire, which is why, yeah, exactly. He's a wealthy and famous media clone, exactly. He's there. He knows what he has to say to be successful, and this stupid, ridiculous thing, this ridiculous thing where he stood up in court. Even when he was sentenced, he tried to act like he was a man of principle, being dragged away to the cells. But 400 years of injustice. He's a liar. He's a cheat. It's interesting that what dog is Big Wag. 69 Phuket wants to know about the meaning of the title. Yeah. What it means is, at the beginning of the film. There's a motto. There's like a little slogan at the beginning which says, "Why does a dog wag its tail?" And the answer is because the tail is smarter than the dog. So because the dog is smarter than the tail. If the tail was smarter than the tail would wag the dog. And that is an implication that, you know, even very, very small people, and if they have the right, wag the dogs. Michel, so appropriate, yeah. If they're in the right place and they can do the right thing and they can control certain flows of information, you can very easily manipulate people. And so here's good news, guys. It was trending on Twitter the other day. Wag the dog was trending. I know because I went to put a hashtag in and it completed as soon as I put wag. I got a completion. I got a completion option. But what I want to talk to you about is how about what's going on in the world. The reason, of course, it's trending is because people are getting more and more. They're coming around to ideas like us, like we have our ideas about whether things are real or not in this world. What's actually going on? Is there, you know, is what's actually happening in this world? How much you see in the film, of course. This president he's literally a couple of weeks before an election, and it comes out that he took this young girl guide into his office on her own for a few minutes, and now she's accusing him of basically rape or sexual assault. She's only like 13 or 14, so it's far more serious than Monica. At least Monica was a consenting adult. And of course, then they bring in the team to deal with it. Is Robert De Niro's character called Conrad Breen. I never work out exactly what his role is. And there's this official called Winifred Ames, who's that's Anne Heche's character, who's this sort of young, sort of pressed. She's rather like Jen Psaki. And then Hugo Rune's not going to bed yet. Hugo, good on you, mate. Good on you. I am going to, as you know, you probably got some notifications for the comments reply. You all have, if you put comments. So that's coming up in the next day or two. And they literally say, well, what can we do? And I was explaining the review. What can save the president now? And they approached this Hollywood producer, Stanley Mott, Dustin Hoffman's character. And he says, you'd have to have a war to save him now. That guy's fucked. You'd have to have a war. And they look at him and they say, oh, that's an idea. Brando, yeah, it's not Al Pacino. Yeah, and Robert De Niro, he's so good in it. He's very good in that. He's completely underhand and creepy. You never know exactly what. Like I said, he's not on the staff. They describe him as a Mr. Fix-It. He appears in the very first scene where they all go down to the basement, the White House basement. Hello, Rick Horden, but they don't. But you see, they don't say exactly what his role is. He doesn't work at the White House. He's some kind of contractor. And they bring him in. It's actually Winifred who brings him in. And you don't actually... you never actually find out. What's that? What's that, Claire? What's this here? Oh, God, the whole thing's on BitChute. Oh, wow. The whole thing's on Bit. Oh wow! The whole thing's on BitChute. Yeah, yay! Oh my goodness. It looks like it doesn't look like a very good quality one, but it's still worth watching. It's. I'd like to say, you know, that I don't. I have to say for the record, I don't approve of this piracy, this breach of copyright. But off the record, it's the purpose for which this movie was made. Is good playing out in the world at the moment, and if I were Barry Levinson, I would say just let as many people watch it as possible. I don't care. Just as many people watch as possible. Thank you very much. Thanks, Claire. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And it's trending. A lot of I actually I got the DVD of it, but I bought it for $3.49 on Amazon. I actually paid for it to watch it on Amazon because I want it to ratio. I want as many people to be seen buying it as possible. So I rented it on Amazon. Now David says here they must have known before they wanted to stage a war of some sorts because De Niro says on the plane over the producers that he's working on which country. Yeah, I think so, David. I really do think that he had this idea in his head originally because when they go down to the basement, he's sort of like he's already hinting it. He's already just saying, look, get the president to stay in China. Tell him he's ill. They send the servants out so that only the people at the table know anything about it. Nichelle Sovereign, yes, everyone needs to watch this. We should maybe go through a couple of these stories, because what happens is what Motz does. Stanley, he's like I said, none of these people are good guys. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it, Claire. Please do watch it. You will love it. I won't make this a very long stream actually, because I want to get on with the comments reply video. I'd like to get that done before bed actually. Then I can sort of process it overnight. It's predictive programming. Exactly what they do. They ranged for a war. It's a fake war. Now, I'm not suggesting the war in Ukraine is fake, yet the methods they use. Peaceful Warrior, salute. I'm not bad, thanks, mate. I'm not bad. Thanks for joining. What they do is they make the important point that whether something is fake or not, you don't know, because in this case, the entire war is faked. Everything about it is faked. It's all the news stories are there. Everything you'd expect in the media. All the emotional overload that these stories inevitably have. Yes, Lord Anu, I have an email. It's on the Herpanwo TV blog. You can contact me there. So you can tell me all about your adventures with the King Sargon of Akkad and all those people. The real Sargon of Akkad. Not the... It's a feminist system. It's a fucking feminist system. Not that one. But yeah, it's... the neurolinguistic program actually happens in it. They actually do... They set up these very moving images like the young girl. What is a blog? Oh, sorry, you're from the past, aren't you, Lord Anu? It's rather like parchment, except it's... can you imagine parchment on a sort of like a big glowing square thing? Psychology and rhetoric. Yeah, the rhetoric is, they deliberately get the president's plane to land where it's raining, so that they only have the young girl probably pretending to be Albanian, handing him the first sheaf of the harvest, and then his Welsh Ripper. I'll check out the Millie Dowler thing. Yeah, and then her grandmother's crying, and the president puts his jacket around the grandmother. And then I can't do that now, Lord Anu. You have to find it yourself. I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of doing this. I'm not saying you're joking, Lord Anu. I'll have to sort it out at the end. I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a flow. And then and of course Stanley just says, I could make rain. I got machines that can make rain. Of course they do in the movies, And they actually say at one point before, well, it's a spoiler here, but of course the war hero, good old Shu, before he dies, when he turns out he's going to be the war hero, they're going to dose him up to the gills with his antipsychotic medication, and let him sort of strut to all the adoring crowd. They want a dog to come up and lick him in affection. So what they say, can we get him to hold some meat in his hands, a piece of meat, so that the dog will come up to his hands. It's all what was it Michel said? Psychology and rhetoric, predictive programming. And so much of that is used in the media. I'll just show you a few examples of stories, and we'll see actually if these are actually are these real or not? Right, where are we now? Let's have a look. Excuse me. Right. I've found a way I could do this actually and still see the chat box, which is good. Right, because I just lose the chat behind me. Okay. This story came up the other day. I'll put it on full screen so you can see it. This is what I think may well be fake. This is an example of what I think may well be fake. Scottish grandfather travels to Ukraine to fight the Russians. And there he is. Although I can't think his head looks a little bit big for his body, as if that's not a statement about his personality. That's making me wonder if when they photoshopped him onto here, they made his head slightly too big. What do you reckon? A Scottish grandfather has travelled to Ukraine to help the country's armed forces fight the Russian invasion. Rab Grady from Edinburgh, wearing a flak jacket and camouflage with fatigues. Yeah, I'm a 61-year-old grandfather from Scotland. More than 100 people in Scotland have volunteered to fight in the conflict. What is this, like the Spanish Civil War? The Foreign Legion? Old Charlie Veach even did a video about recruiting for the Spanish Foreign Legion. I mean, I actually posted a comment saying, for God's sake, Charlie, watch Wag the Dog, but he's like really... he's really... He seems to have bought the official story for this, just like he did 9/11. But... politicians have been divided over whether British citizens should travel to Ukraine to enlist in the armed forces. Ben Wallace, Defence Secretary, says people without military training should not travel to Ukraine. Well, oh my goodness. If you travel to Ukraine to fight, you may be. This may amount to offences against the UK terrorism and other legislation. I suspect this is more than 100 Scots volunteer to fight. Oh my goodness me! Do you believe this? I don't know if you believe this. How much of this is true? Surely, I bet some of them are. Yeah, but is this grandfather doing it? They probably give him like basic training when he's there, but that should take like 10 weeks, isn't it, normally? But they probably rush him through. But that doesn't mean that he's going to have the experience necessary. I don't know what you guys reckon about this. I'll go back to. Let's have a look. So, guys, now where are we? Where are we now? What do you reckon, real or fake? Lord Annie says, oh no, Lord Annie's talking about something else. Rick Horden, my fridge is a biolab. David says, I'm in a group, a person who I trust, he knows that granddad personally in Scotland. He's a genuine guy, whether he's gone to Ukraine or not, but he's a real guy. If it's real, he goes. He'll be a cook behind the lines, just there for media spin. Could well be Nihilist Lives Matter. They probably won't allow him to do anything too risky if he's not fully trained. I mean, I remember that it's basic training takes. I think it takes about 10 weeks. I've done it myself. It takes 10 weeks. And then you go on to advanced training, which I didn't. But the basic training that takes 10 weeks. And as Michel Sovereign says, his head makes his hands look small. I can't wonder if his head's a bit big. What I'd say obviously there are going to be some real cases of people. And Gary says here, no British person can join a foreign army if they've not got Ukrainian citizenship. More to come. It does seem a bit strange, doesn't it? I mean, it does seem a bit strange, Gary. I mean, a person like, for example, foreigners can serve in the British Armed Forces. But I know there was a lady at my work whose husband actually was from, was it Kenya? And he ended up in the armed forces. But he had to have he had to have all his paperwork done. He wasn't a citizen, but he had to have like a lot of paperwork done. And I don't know exactly what the details were, but they can't just pick anyone off the street. I mean, I'm surprised. I was surprised actually how. I mean, I watched a documentary about HMS Raleigh, and it did seem to be mostly like native people, but so the Royal Navy still seems to be still mostly British. But I watched another one about the army. There's a lot of people who are obviously not non-British citizens in the army. Maybe the government want that because if they have to use the military to, for example, to attack the citizens of this country, they would rather it was non-British citizens, because the problem, they don't want to face the problem that the Chinese did at Tiananmen Square, that getting people to kill their own people, getting people to kill their own countrymen. Most people won't do it. And Nihilist Lives Matter says, yeah, well, this is a legal black hole, what happens if a UK citizen gets killed by Russian soldiers, which will almost certainly happen, yeah, at some point. Bernie Tucker, will Andrew volunteer to fight as he's very experienced and brave? Yeah. Yeah, David says it violates the Foreign Enlistment Act, yeah, of 1870, if that's still on the statute books. I suspect it's done for, this is an example of publicity. I mean, whether he's really in Ukraine or not, I don't know. What I would say to this guy, Randy Grady or whatever he's called, and I'd say this to anyone, any of these 100 people, if you're in Scotland and you're a man of fighting spirit, you need to stay at home because that is where you'll be needed. Your own country needs you, not some foreign place in Eastern Europe. There's going to be some fight. I think there's going to need to be some fighting done in Scotland pretty soon, the way things are going, and England. Right, Gary says here, if you watch a video called Sky News uses actor for Ukraine video, One Islam Productions, it gives all the info you need to know. Right. Well, that's Gary, that would be very interesting, because that would be positive proof that there is a Wag the Dog type situation going on here. All right, Nihilist Lives Matter. I'm not referring to the legality, more the outrage stoked up by the Piers Morgan types who will call for war. What is wrong with Piers Morgan? I'd say, well, he's gone stupid on a lot of things, isn't he? He's gone stupid on a hell of a lot of things, hasn't he? I mean, you know, his position on the C word was ridiculous. You know, he was just parroting them. He's supposed to be anti-establishment. He's supposed to be a bit of a belligerent bantam. He's not. He was saying, why won't they do the no-fly zone? Can't we have a NATO no-fly zone in over Ukraine to stop these horrible things happening? These horrible things that may or may not be true. Doesn't he realise what that means? Funny enough, it's Hillary Clinton said when she was president, after she won the election in 2016, she would enforce a no-fly zone over Syria. So we could have ended up with a massive war against Russia as long ago as that. Do you miss Trump yet, guys? David Schultz says this. Speaking of Wag the Dog, the cover-up is the business interests of Biden's son. Exactly. John Kerry's son, Pelosi's son, Romney's son, the biolabs and human trafficking. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realise it wasn't just Biden's son, but it would make sense. I mean, as I said before, Ukraine is the Havana of the East, and it needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, Piers isn't nihilist lives matter. Piers isn't stupid. He's self-serving and says anything to stay relevant. Maybe he just says anything he knows is controversial, like Christopher Hitchens used to do that. Snarlark, hi Ben. Many foreigners voluntarily fought in the Spanish Civil War. Orwell was there, I think. He was indeed, in fact, his famous book, Homage to Catalonia, is his story of his time there, and it's a very interesting book to read. Lord Anu, I don't want to see things like that now. No, not now. Maybe later before I go to bed. But yeah, it's... however, you know, it's whatever. I don't know exactly what the law was about that. I know now they're unveiling memorials to people like Orwell. There's a memorial in Oxford to the foreign fighters in the Spanish Civil War, but only those that went and fought for the communists. The ones there are no memorials to the ones who went and fought for the nationalists. No, only communists get honoured in this particular war. Well, Orwell did actually fight for them. The thing about Orwell, I think he, I don't know if he would have actually continued, because he seemed to change his mind about a lot of things as he got older. David says Peter Hitchens thinks Putin has lost his marbles. Interesting but disappointing. Hitchens normally has a better take on things, actually. Yeah. Jacob Anonymawi. Greetings from JR, Brother Porter. Pride and dignity, Brother Porter. I'm working very busy ED department now, same old. Are you on duty? You're doing your 2 to 10, brother? Oh, man. But it's thanks for joining us, Jacob. Many thanks. Hope the guy... Give my love to the guys, will you? I miss them terribly. And yeah, it's yeah, it's I mean, Orwell. Orwell didn't do. I mean, I don't know exactly. I don't think he would have done the kinds of things that the communists ended up doing in Spain. You know, turning, keeping nuns as sex slaves and things like that. I don't believe Orwell would have done that. Although he must have seen things and been involved with things that he probably didn't write about in the book. For example, a lot of people have commented on how extremely accurate the Room 101 scene is in 1984. The fact that because he would have witnessed torture, I think he would have witnessed prisoners being tortured, and as with the reason they tortured them, it wasn't just for sadism. I mean, some of them were sadists and they just enjoyed doing it, and indeed, a lot of these militias actually deliberately recruited psychopaths from prison. It was they deliberately took people from prisons, when and people who'd been were serving time for violent, very sadistic, violent crimes, and they made them the torturers because they knew they enjoyed it. But the reason they did it was simply to do exactly what they did with Orwell, because after you'd been through that experience, you would denounce everything that had happened, everything you'd done before. As Winston Smith did, he goes onto the telescreen and says, I was a thought criminal, but now I love Big Brother. Gary, maybe this is the whole thing. Gary's made some point here about it being an offence. Maybe they do want to put us into a de facto war with Russia. Maybe that's why they're turning a blind eye to it. And they are really, I bet they're really, really ramping up the whole. You can see by that news article, they really want to say, this guy, isn't he brave, isn't he wonderful? He's leaving Scotland. He's a man with fighting spirit, and he's leaving his home country, where he should be fighting there, and he's buggering off to the other end of Europe to take part in a war against the superpower at the age of 61. Oh, yeah. Vrillon Aura, hello, welcome. That's another thing. The Russia chemical weapons. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's have a look then. Let's have a look about the Russian chemical weapons scandal. Let's have a look. Oops, where are we? I'm trying to keep 3 windows open so I can keep an eye on the chat. Okay, Russia. This is another thing I suspect is not true. This is something I suspect is comes straight out of the real life Stanley and Connie. Oh, really? Villanora, there was a bloke who signed up and his only training was Call of Duty. God, I think some people are just doing it for a bit of excitement, I mean, some of the foreign fighters who went and joined ISIS, when they were captured, they were captured by the Iraqi government, and within their kit bag there was books like a beginner's, a complete idiot's guide to Islam, and Teach Yourself Arabic. They just thought it was fun. It was a bit of excitement in their lives. I think some people do it just for that reason. I can't help thinking there was a little bit of that in Orwell. Actually, he was a thrill seeker, even though he did believe in what he was doing. I mean, he describes Barcelona in 1936 and saying how wonderful it was, and saying how he wished that would spread. But I kind of wonder if it was a bit of a. I kind of wondering. So someone in his position, someone without any military experience and with his eloquence, would probably serve the cause better working as a journalist. Yeah, he wanted to go and fight, and I can't help wondering if it was partly machismo and partly a thrill seeking. Yeah. David Schultz, you can't compare the Spanish Civil War to the Ukraine fiasco. It's apples and oranges. It's a distraction for the normies. But you see, exactly, David. They are comparing it deliberately for that reason. You could bet there'll be memorial after this thing's over. If there's anyone left alive to put it up, there'll be memorials to people like this Scottish granddad. Michel Sovereigns brings up the biolabs. Yes. USA-funded biolabs. I'm hoping the Russians will capture them as soon as possible because they could be used for false flag. Claire, you'd think any sensible person would realise cutting off all your supply routes wasn't the best option. Oh, yeah. David says there was an ex-British soldier and his mates who went over there, and after they were attacked very fiercely by Russian artillery and drones, they hot-footed it back home. I'm sure there's a real... I'm not... Obviously, there's a real war going on. But look at this. Have a look at this. This is an example of what I'm talking about here. Ukraine. What are chemical weapons and could Russia use them? Russia is calling a special emergency meeting of the UN Council and claims Ukraine plans to develop biological weapons, dismissed by Ukraine and the US as a false flag. Remember Saul Alinsky's rule for radicals. Always accuse your enemy of what you plan to do. Ukraine has laboratories, legitimately. Well, I'm just going to have a quick look at that. Hang on a sec. Ukraine war, fact-checking Russia's biological weapons claim. Oh, whenever you see fact-checking, you know what that means, don't you? And here we have a still from a Russian news program, which we're not allowed to see. We're not allowed to see this program. No. They don't let us see it, and they tell us what the Russian programs are saying. And they then fact-check them for us so that we don't have to. The US says it funds work in Ukrainian labs to tackle dangerous disease. What does that remind you of? The Wuhan Institute for Virology. I knew that was true. I knew it. That, I reckon, is fake. No evidence. Ukraine destroyed pathogens to hide illegal research. Well, there you are. It's been fact-checked, therefore it must be true. The BBC fact-check it. The BBC fact-checkers told us that the Wuhan lab had nothing to do with the C word, and then they said it had come from this market next door. Yeah, and then later on, about a year later, they were saying, no, it's okay. We're going to bring this back and say, actually, it may well have come from the lab. So they basically, the fact checkers then fact check themselves. Absolute crooks. I think this what will happen is, unfortunately, if this is like with Syria. Do you remember that? Do you remember? Oh, the gas attack in Syria. Do you remember that? Who remembers the gas attack in Syria? Oh, yeah. That wonderful moment. Hang on, where is it now? Hang on, that's it. That wonderful moment where Syria were on the point of winning a war. They were on the point of winning a damn war. And then they blew, at the very last moment, they blow everything by doing, apparently, a chemical weapons attack. Do you believe that? Araminta says, yeah, accusing somebody else of what you're doing is a classic tactic of the narcissist. It is indeed. It comes from Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, which is basically the Bible of the left. The left, of course, doesn't believe in Bibles, but this is the closest thing they have to one. Yeah, Claire says they're trying hurriedly to construct a narrative to blame the bioweapons on Russia, even though they were developed in Ukraine. They're trying to. Yep, they're definitely. This is the equivalent of in Wag the Dog, as you'll see when you watch the film, Claire. You'll see that things happen. Things go against after Stanley is brought into the team to produce this fake war. Things keep going wrong, and whenever they go wrong, he says, "That's okay. This is nothing. This is nothing." I was working on this biblical epic, and I found out I was 6 months into production. I found out I didn't have the rights. This is nothing. And he comes up with a plan. He changes it. He's very adaptive, Stanley, because he's a Hollywood producer. He comes up with a plan that he just changes it and comes up with something else. So when the CIA, as I explained in my review, when the CIA go to the president and they basically end the fake war, They then come up with the idea with Old Shoe, the man left behind, enemy lines. Courage, Mom. You remember in Morse code on his jumper. Courage, Mom. That was all Stanley made that up. Claire, you're right. It doesn't make sense that Syria did that. If Russia used chemical weapons, then that essentially it's under international law. An enemy could use tactical nuclear weapons in retaliation because they're weapons of mass destruction. Maybe that's how they plan to do it. They plan to carry out a false flag chemical weapon attack, which will justify the use of tactical nukes. Which, of course, NATO won't wield them themselves, but they will send them to Russia. They will send them to Russia. Oh, it's not to Russia. They'll send them to Ukraine, and the Ukrainians will use them. The Ukrainians. Oh, David says pictures of a Ukrainian bomb disposal disarming a bomb. The label of its country of origin is carefully concealed by cloths laid over it. Let's have a look. See if I can find a picture of that. Ukrainian diffusing bomb. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Images. Ah, here we go. Yeah. Let's just. Right. Let me just go to share. The heart-stopping moment. Ukrainians defuse a live Russian bomb using water bottles. Oh, hang on. Where is it? Where's the picture? Hang on. I'll go back to the picture. All right. Let's look at the picture here, guys. Yeah. What's that cloth doing? Does that serve some kind of purpose? Or is it covering something up? Is this real or not? What's that noise? Oh, sorry. Here's the video. Can you see the video there? Oh, there we go. Let me just go back to the beginning. Sorry, I was good for the bloody hell. Hang on, there we go. Let's go back to the beginning. Come on. Oh, it's being silly now. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah. Does anyone know anything on bomb disposal? Is that accurate or not? Oh, look what's up next. Trump refuses to call Putin evil. Oh, my goodness me. What a horrible man. What a horrible man. He's not calling Putin evil. Oh, dear. Yeah, that's interesting, David. Thanks for that. Gary, many normies were starting to question the integrity of the fact-checkers, so created sock accounts to spread BS correctly. Fact-check it is an attempt to steer normies back on script. But that's good tactics, actually. That is kind of reverse psychology, isn't it? Using the techniques of the techniques of mind control again for positive purposes. I was talking about this on Lisa's show, the Cry Freedom show. Welsh Ripper. Winston Churchill wanted to use gas bombs in World War II. Oh God, he was told the Germans to get loads of. Yeah, I understand that he was, according to that book by David Irving. Churchill was desperate for the Blitz to start because then they would justify going ahead of everything they did, which was basically decimating Germany with firebombs. Michel Sovereign says something interesting. They're not even trying anymore. They're not being as crafty as they used to be. They really are kind of what's the word? They're being very barefaced and very blatant. They're not really covering their tracks very much. All right, Vrilon says the fuse. It's the water prevents stopping cooking off. Right. Hello, Caroline McGreal. Ben, have you noticed the mind control blue and yellow colours they are using with this war and their flag colours and the posters, new articles for the sea bug? Look into it. Are they? Well, so they're using the Ukrainian flag colours for articles about the C word. Jake Yorkman, hello. Will you be getting Nick back on soon? I would love to. I'm still in touch with Nick, and I've asked him if he wants to do any updates because I'm actually putting Nick's going to be on the Hapanwo show on Hapanwo Radio next week. I'm going to replay. I'm going to do an audio version of the interview I've just done with him on Panmo TV. But I'm going to add some more material. Claire says police cars already have Ukrainian colours. I've noticed that those police community support officers do, don't they? Yellow and blue. Same colour as IKEA, who boycotted Russia, Lemsip. Hello, Lemsip, how are you? Brett Riverboat, hello. I think this is the best we'll see if aliens exist. This will get nuclear in a few weeks between NATO and Russia. Well, you know what, Brett, obviously, I hope that they will do what they seem to be hinting at doing when they took out that missile Dr. Bob Jacobs talks about. Things like that, or the reason they were around Rendlesham Forest. And I don't know. There's no guarantee of that. Oh, Hugo. Gary says that Hugo talks detailed this in his recent video. Is that Hugo Rune? It's not. Will ISIS be sucked in? God knows. I think ISIS can be used for anything. Araminta, they are being complacent, Ben. If public response to the C word has made them overconfident. Yeah. Hello, Jock of Ages. It could be Araminta, yeah. Certainly there was an emergency stop on the C word, wasn't there? It just seemed to like... Suddenly there were countries all over the world withdrawing restrictions. Oh, Hugo. Right, you are Hugo. It's not you. Okay. Obviously, because this was an emergency stop, it wasn't coordinated very well internationally. I mean, Justine Castro in Canada didn't get the message, did he? Hence the trucker protest. Lemsip, yeah. You listen to the Cry Freedom show. Great. Yeah, that's Lisa's show. It's very good. Villanora makes a good point. It's like that you can make death threats or anything else against Russia, and the overlords of Silicon Valley allow it. Yeah, it's like Russians are the new white people, basically. Russia calls Western arms shipments to Ukraine legitimate targets. Luckily, Poland is refusing to let their airfields be used. Yeah. But you know what? In a wartime, of course, these are legitimate targets. Lord Arnie, we'll talk about that on another live stream. Okay. But yeah, this is the problem. But of course, we are being led to believe that this is evil Russia. Poor Ukraine just wants to be left alone, and the evil Russians are spoiling everything. They're spoiling everything. They're just ruining it all. Like, is this? This is not questioned. The other side of the story is not being told. As I said on the Ukraine invasion live stream, I talked about Putin's own article. He read about. He wrote an article last July, which is fascinating because it's a completely different story to what you're hearing on the BBC. Yet his story, his story's not being told. I said this to Nick Colostrom. It's not being told. And we're not allowed to see it. They're doing their best to try and stop us. They won't work, of course. As I said, you can watch these things through VPNs. People talk about censoring the internet. You can't actually completely censor the internet if people are willing to make enough effort to get around the filters. Michel Sovereign, the public switch from COVID to Ukraine so quick it's creepy. Yeah. I actually shared a meme. I'll show it to you, actually, because it's so funny. Where is it? Here we go. There's a couple I want to show you, actually. Where's that one with Batman? So my picture viewer takes ages to bloody open. Where's that one? Oh, where's that Batman one? It's so funny. This one, it absolutely made me. This made absolutely made. Oh, come on. There we are. Oh, for fuck's sake. This one, just have a look at this. If this doesn't make you laugh, you have no sense of humour. Oh, good. Oh, I love it. The distracted boyfriend. Oh, let me just find another one. I can't find it in my. I cannot find it in my folder. I'll have a look and see. I know I posted it on Facebook. One sec. Here we go. Oh, this is it. Here we go. Let me just show you this. Oh, sorry. There you go. Look at that. I hate the unvaccinated. We hate Russians now. Oh, but you got to laugh at this sort of thing. Honestly, I'd go crazy if I couldn't laugh at this sort of thing. I'd go crazy, and it's just so absurd. It really has. Oh, and someone's mentioned Niall Murphy. Yeah, I'll come back to that in a minute. Brando asks, "Have I heard of the PSYOPs by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino?" Yes. Now, Miles Johnston did a good interview with him, but it only got really good towards the end, and then he said, "Oh, sorry, I've got to finish now," and he went away. And I'd love for Miles to have done a part 2, but he never got the chance to do it. Gary Garner's Goy Pride. Facebook even allow hate speech towards Russians. Yeah. They're the new white people. Villan Aura, will you please be part of the Great Reset, Russia? No, Beto, no, they won't. That's why they're being so angry. Did you see this article I posted? Hang on. I'll just go through the comments. Niall Murphy has made some great videos. He does, yeah, Niall does. I don't agree with every word, but I do like his insights. I really do. Lemsip, I've never seen so many people falling for the narrative as with Ukraine, even the C word. Yeah. And the way it's switched, it's almost like, in 1984 you could say Oceania Oceania it has a problem with Russia. The C word's no longer a problem. It's like an adaptation on the Oceania, East Asia, Eurasia thing. And these things just switch seamlessly from one to the other. Brett Riverboat just anxieties through the roof because the media seems to want nuclear war. I mean, the potential is there. This could end up in something like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Hello, Terry. Not my rabbit hole with Terry Joyce. How you doing, Terry? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, thanks for joining us. This could end up that way. It could be something like the Cuban Missile Crisis. David, what would happen if there are hate crimes now against Russian people? Because I mean, one of my daughter's friends is Russian, a young woman. There's Russian people living in Britain. What will happen if someone goes out and beats them up or something? What will the police do? Anything? Will they be considered enemy combatants because of their nationality? How bad will it get? It's a really it's so worrying. It really is. Claire knows someone who didn't understand this one, didn't you? Oh my goodness me! There are some people literally have no introspective abilities at all, and they just don't. They are literally Russia. They've forgotten completely that about a month ago or 2 months ago it was the C word. It was the C word and nothing else. We were all going to die of the C word. We had to lock everything down. Now, that's kind of like then there's this emergency stop. And then this all kicks off with Russia. I don't think that's a coincidence. It's possible that NATO actually deliberately tugged the Russian beard to get that started for this purpose. Oh, dear. By the way, something I didn't mention in the review, Stanley, as I said in the film, he's probably the most honest character. I mean, none of them are honest. All of them are liars. All of them are sleazy. All of them are selfish. But the most honest character in there is... I've got some more comments here. Yeah. The most honest person is Stanley. Stanley at the end... What happens at the end? He looks at everything he's done, and then because the president gets re-elected because of the war, because everyone's so totally and utterly besotted with and in this passion over old shoe and everything like that, and beating the Albanian terrorists who have the bomb, and they're going to smuggle it in through Canada, and all this other bullshit that Stanley has been inventing. And he looks at them and he says, look at it, it's all completely fake and it's wonderful. It's the best work I've ever done. And then there's this, and then someone comes on TVs and he says, "Look at those fucking amateurs." And what they say, what these TV hosts said, "Oh, we can't just blame, we can't." He says, "I work for the advertising company that created the original campaign ads. Don't change horses in midstream. And we're the ones who did it, really." And Stanley goes crazy, and he's going to pick up the phone and call into the studio, and then Breen stops it. Says, "Stanley, you can never tell anyone about this. You can't tell anyone about this ever." And he says, "But I want credit. I never get credit. I've never won an Oscar. There's no Oscar for producing. I want people to know I did this. This is the finest work of my life." He says, "Stanley, please don't tell anyone you're playing with your life." He says, "Fuck my life. I want to get the credit." And as he walks out the door, there's this big, tough Secret Service guard there sitting with his sunglasses going like that. And Breen just nods at him like that. And then the final scene, you see Stanley being escorted to a car. "We'll give you a lift home, Stanley." And then the next scene, it's Stanley Motz, the great Hollywood producer, died of a heart attack at his California mansion yesterday. They killed him because he was going to blow the whistle. Oh my God, this is funny. Snarlock says, "Ovis is the Latin word for sheep. Homo ovis." I like that. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Terry says, "Wag the dog, baby. Wag the dog." Well, it's great that they're like. It's great that a lot of people are seeing through this. What about they banned Tchaikovsky? Yes, I mean it's incredible because, Russia has this great tradition in classical music, and Tchaikovsky. I've used some Tchaikovsky tunes on my own channels, and they banned him. It's like even in the Cuban Missile Crisis, there wasn't this kind of Russophobia. It's a word that I discovered when I did my Russophobia live stream, and now it's on everyone's tongue. Banning vodka. I made a joke a couple of weeks ago about them banning vodka, just as a joke. And then now they actually did it. Life imitated humour. Claire says, "It's all right, Ben, because they are demons. We must demonise anyone else who has different viewpoints." Yeah. Again, it's Zelensky, rules for radicals. And they see us as evil because they know there's evil within their own hearts. Some of them have even a subconscious introspective ability to know where they've gone wrong. Woody Black, ridiculous hysteria. What are they going to do next? Edit Chekhov out of the Star Trek original series. Oh my God! Don't put ideas in their heads. And Michel Sovereign, DuckDuckGo have censored their search results. Exactly, Michel. You've got to use a VPN if you want to look this stuff up. I've been watching RT on tour. It's the only way you can watch it if you live in this country. And David says, "It's actually more dangerous now than it's been since the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Western media are nuts, and these people call for no-fly zones. They don't understand what they're calling for." Yeah, Piers Morgan. Oh, Jimmy Cranky as well. She said that, didn't she? The leader of the Scottish government said that. I know she's an idiot, but I mean, this is crazy, isn't it? And David Schultz says it in a nutshell here. The reason for the Ukraine crisis is that the globalist C-word scam D has failed. Have you noticed that the scam D is no longer in the news? Yeah, it's been slowly eased out, David. They don't make it too obvious, but they very quickly dropped it. Yeah. And Claire says, "Tchaikovsky was gay, so banning is homophobia." Don't point out these contradictions, Claire, please. It's like, you try to explain to people, they say, well, they've come up with ridiculous things like they say, was it multiracial whiteness? Because they have to explain why people, there's non-white people are supporting what they call white supremacy. So Candace Owens, for example, she suffers from multiracial whiteness. And they've probably got something similar for this as well, It'll probably be called, gay homophobe. I don't know, is it gay homophobianess or something like that? Self-hating gay people, that's it. Self-hating is another one they use. Farage is pro-fracking, says Snarnock. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying good things about fracking. I mean, Thomas Barden-Rees was talking about it. If I'm on a show again and he brings the subject up, I'll say, it's not a good idea. I like Thomas and I respect him a lot, but I think that's one thing he's got wrong. Lemsip says, Lisa had a podcast with Gally Lucy. Yeah. Channing someone about the age of Aquarius. To be honest, Lemsip, I found it a bit far out. I did. But, I found it a bit far out. However, I hope it's true. It could be true. Lisa, it resonated a lot with Lisa. She's very intuitive about things like that. David says here, Russians are white, so it's acceptable hate. Yeah, and also, funnily enough, the Ukrainian gangsters who run the place, a lot of them are connected to this Azov battalion, who are basically neo-Nazis. And there's even left-wing people posting memes of soldiers and things, and they've got like this. They've got the black sun symbol on their uniforms. These are the anti-Nazis now. So, well, yeah, but these are our kind of Nazis. As Nick Colostrom said the other day, they are literally far right. It's a mixture of like criminal elements and the far right who are running Ukraine now. All right, guys. I'm just going through your comments, guys. Yeah, I'm disappointed in DuckDuckGo. I really am. David says here, Stanley would have survived if only didn't yearn for recognition as a producer. Yes, Stanley. I didn't like any of the characters. They're all horrible people. I would not have liked to do. However, Stanley is the most honest person there. I mean, he literally does want to create a work of art, and he succeeds. He creates essentially a movie, but of course, as I said in my review, there's this dichotomy between the real and fake in media, or the real and imagined in media, which everyone believes is true. On the one side, you have fakes. You have like fake stuff or fiction, things which are openly imaginary, and they're just meaningless entertainment. On the other side, you have factual stuff, the news, without realizing that these two things overlap. That's kind of what's. And see, Stanley is a movie. He's produced movies, and now suddenly he's producing. He has to produce news and current affairs, but he can't get it out of his head that this is a movie. He wants to be treated as a movie where it's all done publicly, and then Breen has to say to him, remind him, look, you can't talk about this. There are several times earlier in the film where he makes hints about this sort of thing, and Breen cuts him off and says, Stanley, you can't talk about this, just jokingly, assuming that Stanley gets it. But then later on, you realise Stanley doesn't get it. He does want recognition. So Breen's then, you can see he doesn't like it because he quite likes Stanley, I think. They get on very well, but then he sadly nods at the Secret Service guy, and next thing you see Stanley being basically bundled into a car. Gently, we'll give you a lift home, Stanley, that kind of thing. And then, he's had a heart attack. Yes, it was a 9mm heart attack in the back of the head, I bet. Araminta, are they seriously banned Russian cats? You're joking. Are they going to ban... what about that nuclear fusion thing I did? Are they going to ban the tokamak because it's a Russian word? Are they going to come up with another word for the tokamak? I bet they're going to call it a fusion reactor or something like that. Anyone named Natasha will be cancelled, said Claire. That's a Russian name, yeah. Lemsip. Thomas Sheridan's made a video about people rushing to take refugees into their homes because of social pressures from celebs. And the one about veterans and civilians going to fight in Ukraine and being killed. I'll have to check that out, Lemsip. Yeah. Obviously, I think some of these stories are fake about the people about the volunteers joining the militias. I think some of those are fake, but obviously there's real people doing it. And David, Stanley would have survived if he didn't learn for recognition as a producer. Yeah. I don't think they realise. I've got the feeling that I don't think Winifred cares. I think Winifred is a selfish bitch, but Breen actually was quite fond of him and didn't want to get rid of him. But he must have known they might have to do that. If the BBC says it, it's a lie. Yeah, I think pretty much. I assume it, yeah. And Hugo Roon says bullshit broadcasting. I can't say that word on YouTube, but yes. Um, Saw them pour out vodka made in Canada. but Michel Sovereign. Not all vodka comes from Russia. I mean, it originates in Russia, but there's Finnish vodka, Canadian vodka. I mean, I can't believe that. Are they really getting rid of Canadian vodka? I mean, went shopping the other day and they still had vodka on the shelves, but I think the reason they've still got it in the shop I went to, which is Co-op, is because it comes from a licensed distillery in this country or somewhere in Europe. Like Smirnoff, I know it originally comes from Russia, but I think it's been brought out and they have licensed distilleries outside Russia now. Claire says, I'm reading a Biggle story in which vodka plays a large part. You traitor, Claire. Oh my God, they're going to ban that book now, aren't they? Clemsep said, I made a joke about the woke police force with rainbow-coloured cars. Oh, and the Met Police brought them. All the police, it's if your house gets burgled, they won't turn up. I mean, they'll come within the next day or two and just help you fill out the insurance forms. That's all they do. But if you start making jokes about politically incorrect things, they'll be hammering on your door. H says, with years and years of government letting the rich Russians. All right. Well, someone mentioned something about. Here we go. This is what we're coming up to. H. Roman Abramovich, he is selling Chelsea, and donating every penny to Ukraine war victims. So apparently, but no, you see, it's. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with him actually. Whether he's going to be completely cancelled. I know originally he was put on suspension by his own management committee. And now he's going to sell it off. But if you think how much that club's worth, I mean, I think they're the most successful club in history, or something like they've got the FA Cup, Champions League. Was it? They're trying to get it. Is it how many times they've got those things? Oh, maybe Prince Andrew's on his way up because he's an old vet. Well, if you call someone who flies a helicopter and picks people out of rubber dinghies a veteran, yeah. Villain Aura, Uncle Jack's Joy Book, 1942. I've not heard of that one. Lemsip, which search engines are not censoring them now? All of them, I think. I mean, certainly, I tried. YouTube's run by Google. Google is censoring RT. DuckDuckGo are now censoring. A lot of these are just powered by Google anyway. Villain Aura says, oh, you mentioned a Russian search engine. Where's that? I'm just rolling up now, just going upstairs. Oh, I got a Yandex, a Russian search engine. I'll try that, Vrilon, yeah. I'm going to have to skip through some of these. I'm going to skip through some of these comments. Oh, I've got to mention this. Vrilon Aura, this is the absolute pits. I mean, Piers Morgan and Jimmy Cranky are nothing compared to this. Some left-wing dude said that World War III would be good because it would reverse the effects of climate change. I couldn't believe it. That's like, I mean, is George Monbiot or Mark Linus going to come out with something like that? They're going nuts. These environmentalists are going out of their minds. Eco-fascists, yes, Claire. Oh, good grief. I'm going to have to skip some of these comments, sorry. A lot of discussion about the Queen. Diane Abbott will save us. Oh, dearie me. She doesn't... Diane Abbott's only interested in saving herself. I mean, she's even within the mainstream politics. I mean, there's only one reason why that woman is allowed anywhere in the government. It's obvious what that reason is. Snarnock, does this mean Tintin in the Land of the Soviets will be cancelled? I hope not, because it's the only Tintin book I've not read. I've read all the others. I read the Africa one in its original Dutch, because that was banned for a long time, because that's very politically incorrect. There's a lot of animal cruelty in that as well. It's really horrible. That's what I didn't like, really. I don't care about the political correctness. I laugh at that. Gonna skip some of these comments, guys. Sorry. Yeah, there's un-PC stuff around. I mean, as Claire knows, Claire is actually personally involved in this. There are un-PC publishers who specifically specialise in books that would never see the light of day anywhere else. Yeah, Chelsea is the most successful English club for the last 20 years. Imagine what that costs. Hello, Calvin S. I'm going to have to skip through. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to be much longer, actually. I think we covered everything, unless I think we're at the bottom now. I'm going to go up a little bit, just check I haven't missed any, or I've had a look at some. Martin Taylor, Sturgeon Abbott will get the Wizard of Oz to sort it out. Click their red shoes. I wish she would click her red shoes and say there's no place like home, and then she can go to whichever home she wants to. Because Abbott obviously doesn't think Britain is her home, because she's always whinging about it and saying how much she hates it. Yeah, Limsit mentions Kelly J. Jean. Is that her real name? Posey Parker's real name? That was unbelievable. I mean, she's actually very interesting because I think her experience has caused her to ask more fundamental questions about feminism. Her interview with Carl Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, was very good indeed. Because you wouldn't think that... I think until this kicked off, she wouldn't be seen dead in the same room as Sargon. And then she does this very good interview with him. I think she's becoming very curious about the whole feminist issue. And a lot of these TERFs are, a lot of these TERFs, they don't, they are dropping the F from their TERF and becoming just TER. And good for them. Good. I mean, it may be the thing which actually does help a lot of these feminists wake up, is the fact that that you can't stray too far before you realise that you are persona non grata. Hello, Joseph Porro. Welcome, someone from Spain. That's great. Oh, with the glasses. Yeah, that's on my list of things to do. Peaceful Royal Abbott is a loon ball. Isn't she awful? God, she's awful. When I found out that she was shagging Jeremy Corbyn a long time ago, this was like in the early 80s when they were both like new MPs, my first thought was I just would have credited him with better taste. I just thought, why? I mean, maybe she wasn't as bad back then as she is now. Maybe 40 years of victimhood propaganda and all this stuff is like she's essentially like Jussie Smollett. She's essentially simply been propagandized into being in love with her own sense of oppression, which of course doesn't exist. But but it doesn't exist. But they believe it exists. In East Germany, lower S for shagging. Hello, Charles. Welcome. Welcome, Charles. I knew you'd get here in the end. Better late than never. Lord Anu, I'm not getting your emails because I'm doing this live stream. Be patient. I'm happy to read all about your time travel stuff later, but does anyone else want to add anything about Wag the Dog? Who's seen Wag the Dog? Do you want to say anything about it? Because if not, I'll call it a night. So for those of you who've seen it or those of you who want to see it, Claire's posted a link where you can get it online. If you haven't seen it, just do watch it. And it's trending on Twitter. Yeah, you're still dealing with the troll army, Charles. Yeah, I know you and Terry are doing a good job there, I'll tell you guys, because, yeah. I've been through the notice. I've been through the notice comments. I just better check I've got no more of those, actually. I just hate missing I hate missing... I feel guilty if I don't... Let's have a look. I don't think there's any new ones here. No, there's not. No one's going for the. Everyone is simply going for the live stream now. Hugo, you're off, Hugo. See you there. I won't be long now, Hugo, either. Lemsip, Niall Murphy suggests reading and watching 1984 because of all the Neil speak and double think. Yes, indeed. In fact, this video, the actual thumbnail for his video with George Orwell wearing a Ukrainian koof mask, it was inspired by me because I posted I found a Ukrainian koof mask and I put a meme up on Facebook. I'll show it you. I got to show it. It's funny. It's really funny. Where is it? I just thought it was very amusing. Let me just find it. Here we go. What do you get for the truly blue-pilled person in your life? Who is so brainwashed that they will wear a koof mask in the Ukrainian flag? And then Niall then did this. This is Robert Martins did this here. They clap for Pfizer. And then where's Niles? Oh, this is Niles. Here we go. George Orwell in the koof mask. I wish he was still here. I wish that Orwell's still around because we need him. Someone earlier was saying how they wish Ian R. Crane was still here, and I do. I really do miss him. At times like this, I bloody miss Ian R. Crane. I do. Hello, Malaya Grimm. Welcome. I've been lurking, trying to pay attention. We'll catch up. Interesting. Thanks for covering this. You're welcome, Malaya. Do watch this sort of thing, you know. And ZX81V2, hello. I'm going to have a little break, then I'm going to finish. I'm going to have a little break, and then I'm going to finish the wonderful, wonderful comments reply video I'm doing, I think. But guys, you've been excellent. Lebsit mentions George Orwell attending boarding school. Yes, Eton. He went to Eton, and his teacher was none other. One of his teachers was none other than Aldous Huxley, which makes sense, doesn't it? So, guys, if there's nothing else you want to add, I'm going to call it a night. But remember, believe none of what you hear, only half of what... Sorry, I'm not going to nick someone else's catchphrase. I'm not going to nick anyone else's catchphrase. Just Vrillon Aura, BBC, Ministry of Truth. Just remember, when you watch the news stories, there's so much... we didn't have time to cover the maternity hospital thing. And I know that's a very, very emotive subject, but I do wonder if that's... just as a final point here, I just wondered if you wanted to comment on this. The maternity hospital shelling, is that the new baby incubator story? Do you remember in the... How long do you remember? It's over 30 years now. But we should never forget this. That tearful young woman, that tearful teenager telling about how the evil Iraqi soldiers had killed babies by pulling them out of incubators and leaving them to die of cold on the floor of the hospital in Iraq. Yep, Iraq. This young lady, who's apparently a witness to these atrocities, was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador and was a drama student. Yes, this was repeated over and over again. And in the highway of death, hello, Dr. Respect. On the highway of death, the soldiers who killed the retreating Iraqi army said, "When I did this, I was thinking of those babies, and I did it because I was thinking of those babies." Yep. Oh yes, and Starlock says the pitch. Yes. Was it after the expeditionary force in 1914? Before they were sent over, stories came out of when the Kaiser's army marched into Liège. They snatched the babies from the mother's arms and impaled them on their bayonets. And the spikes on the top of their helmets, the famous spikes. And they paraded through the streets with these gruesome trophies with blood dripping down their helmets. And there was all kinds of horrible descriptions of they were licking their lips and drinking the blood. I mean, yeah, exactly, Vrillon. Bit of bayonet in the babies. Well, it was a fabrication. It was a total fabrication, just like the baby incubator story was. Yet it did the trick. The British Expeditionary Force were motivated by those stories that were published unquestioningly in papers like the Daily Mail. The Daily Herald, what we today call the Sun. Lisa, oh sorry, Lisa, I'm sorry I didn't tag you. Lisa, I can't tag you. I should have inboxed you. I'm sorry. Apologies. Oh yeah. This baby incubator store was fake. Now we now have the Russians shelling, and they use the word shelling as if to suggest this is deliberate targeting of a maternity hospital. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not going to say it's fake. I'm not going to say without evidence that it's fake. And there is no positive evidence that this is fake. However, is it possible there was a real Conrad Breen and a real Stanley and some little bitch watching over them, probably Jen Psaki, who's the equivalent of Winifred, and they're coming up with stories to sell to people so that they believe what that the government wants you to know about the Ukraine war. And this could be why it's so wonderful, and we should take such encouragement that Wag the Dog was trending on Twitter. I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you all of you for taking part. I really appreciate it. Vrillon, Charles, Lisa who's just arrived, Snarnock, Claire. Claire, thanks for the modding. Charles, Hugo's gone. Lord Anu, Malaya Grimm, Vrillon or a Peaceful Warrior, everyone else. Thank you all of you. Good night. Watch out for the comments reply video. I'll be uploading it in the next day or soon. And appreciate you being on board. See ya.